Please pardon me. It's time to read it. That is the question. Now, a scam is having the Bible translated into Swahili, Igbo, Yoruba, Zulu, Taswana, Ndebele, and every other African language. That is a conspiracy. That is considered a fool, and their gullibility and lack of critical thinking make them willing participants. I have walked into different libraries and I have seen university science books translated into Chinese, Russian, Portuguese, French, German, Spanish, and so forth. I have seen Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I have seen a Spanish version. I have seen the Korean version of The Heart of War. All these books I have seen in African language. You will never find a church in Africa where the English-speaking preacher would not have a native translator next to them doing the translation. Here's where the scam comes in. You also will never find a school in Africa where the English-speaking translator next to them translating chemistry, geography, economics, etc. to the students. I have seen many science books translated into various languages, but none in any African lands. Astrophysics, medicine, accounting, geology, management. The only time Africans have something translated to them African from attaining aspired goals and life desires. Almost the white people don't vilify by Christians. They all night fast and pray to destroy the African ancestor in the name of Jesus. The black ancestor is so wicked he cursed his own kids. Having cursed his ancestors who gave him life, the black man is roaming around the world like a tortoise without a shell. He has no backbone, zero identity. He is lynched and incarcerated in Cambodia. John Hawkins was a foremost English slave trader, a thief, and by contemporary moral standard, Hawkins made 3 trips to West Africa in the 1560s and stole Africans, whom he sold to the Spanish Queen Elizabeth. With such, please, am I still audible?
You are.
Thank you. I'm going further. Today, the generations of Hawkins and kidnapping and mass murder black Africans. You member of the British airline publicly denounced slavery. If that is wrong, slavery, oh ye Negro. If ancestral cause exists, who should suffer from it? Sharks at sea because they were too weak deserves his future generation to suffer, and not the man whose society was so pure they had no prisons to punish offenders. To these black Africans who will go to church today binding and casting ancestral curses, know that almost all the top British politicians from the 17th century to 19th century, it is mayors of London, 25 sheriffs and 38 aldermen of the city of London were shareholders in the Royal African Company. Between 60 RAC is responsible for trafficking over 1.5 million Negroes to Britain and enslavement of millions. Risky and David Barclay, their bank still carries their name. The Barclays Bank is also their children don't bind and cast their ancestral evil. Rather, it is the Negro whose ancestors were dehumanized and tortured and enslaved that keeps praying against ancestral causes. The Bank of England was also involved in the slave trade. Sir Richard Naves, who was the director of bank for 48 years, was also on their sugar and tobacco plantations in the West Indies. Today, Liverpool Football Club will be playing Tottenham Hotspur in the Barclays Premier League. Pay attention. How many of you who are Liverpool supporters today know that the initial founders of that football club were retired slave traders, whom in 1892, with slavery outlawed, decided to invest their generations to the bank will be absorbed in turn by the Bank of Liverpool. They score, but a pastor somewhere will tell you the reef ships were often built or repaired in Liverpool. Nearly 1.5 million Africans were forcibly transported across the Atlantic. The Liverpool Merchant was the first recorded slave ship to sail from Liverpool. She set sail on 3rd October 1699 and arrived in Barbados. Part owner Sir Thomas Johnson is known as the founder of modern Liverpool. Liverpool City would, without the trade in black living cement roads, the children and this monstrosity on earth and limit, they have managed to stabilize their society and solve their problem and live in a relative peace. But and many others who are demonized by Christians as having bequeathed their offerings with curses is food for thought for many of you who like to always say and try to always cherry pick and say Christianity has brought enlightenment. The white man has brought civilization. Brother,